What's up guys, Jonathan and my project manager Chase Callie is with us today, and in this video we're talking about all things construction management. We're talking trade work, we're talking slabs, we're talking energy efficiency. Stick around, you're gonna love it, and there's a little secret at the end about why we love Barndominiums. It starts now. This week's gonna be a lot of fun because we're actually answering some questions that we've gotten directly from either you guys or clients that wanna know a little bit more about how we actually build the Barndominiums. And as a side note, there is so much testosterone reverberating from this table. Dylan, I hope the lens doesn't explode. You know what I'm saying? God, let's keep it together. So a big one, man, slab versus crawl space. Obviously all of our barndos are on a slab, right? And so you hear people talk about what happens with the plumbing, and there's all these like wives' tales about freezing pipes and having to jackhammer up the whole house and rip out floors. And so can you talk about a little bit the process, like prepping for trades or for plumbing that goes into slabs, and like what a perspective should be or could be from someone such as yourself that builds these all day, every day? You know, what are some unfounded concerns and some information that maybe would be helpful for our listeners to know?
Yeah, for sure. All of our barndos are built with slabs, as Jonathan said. It's a standard 18-inch turn down slab, 4-inch slab. All the plumbing, rough ends are done to the highest building standards we have, and that's plumbing goes under slab. We put 120 pounds of PSI of air in each line, cap them off, and let that sit for 24 to 48 hours to confirm we have no leakage at all. And once that passes, we pull the pressure off and then we pour our slabs. But that just helps us get everything straight, make sure we have no leakage, no leaks at all, because if you got air leakage, you're gonna have water leakage. So we put 120 pounds on every line in the house, fill all the DMVs, which are your waste lines, up with water, make sure we have no leakage at all. We put marks on them to make sure nothing's leaking. We empty all that out, we get our slab poured. So
18-inch turn down slab. Most people have no idea what that is, so I'll break that down a little bit.
So what that is against a crawl space is we pour a footer based on building code, normally 16 inches deep, 12 inches deep, whatever county you're in. And then the turn down slab, your house is built up above that. So it's trying to explain that is a little bit different, but it kind of forms like a shoe, and it comes down like almost like a hook, because all our barndos are built with load-bearing exterior walls. So the turn down follows your exterior, and it basically gives you between 30 and 38 inches of concrete on your exterior wall for load bearing.
Yeah, from the project manager's perspective, again, the fear that we hear everybody talk about is the frozen plumbing nightmare situation, right? Like temperatures drop, it's January, we're in the 20-degree zone. What's your response to someone that says, I don't want to build on a slab because I know at some point my pipes are going to freeze and we're going to have a big mess on our hands? What's your response to that?
Yeah, so every water pipe that we have that penetrates a slab anywhere you have is it's wrapped in foam. It's wrapped in foam 10 inches down under the slab all the way up to the slab. Once you hit the slab, then you'll be in a conditioned space, but everything is insulated 10 inches below the slab, which usually equates to about 6 to 8 inches underground itself, or in the sand underneath your slab.
So if something freezes, what happens then?
Can't freeze. It's wrapped in insulation. It can't freeze unless we have a ice age type storm.
Yeah, that was the thing I'm getting to, is because the way it's built. And like, speaking of insulation, actually, that's a good jumping off point into that. That's another question we get. So like, people think that Barndominiums, they think big metal warehouse, right? It's like this metal building, and metal buildings don't really hold in heat. They don't keep out the elements. So can we talk a little bit about how our homes are insulated, and kind of compared to conventional wisdom that, you know, this is just nothing but a metal building. It's not going to hold in heat. We're not protected from the elements. I'm living in a freaking metal barn. What would be your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so all of our barndos are built to 2021 building standards, which is the highest level it's ever been.
Now, when you say 2021, you're talking about the actual code, right?
Yeah,
like that was when the code was updated.
Yeah, so actually 2020, it sounds kind of off, but 2021 building code actually took effect in 2025. Kind of weird, but that's how it worked. So all the R values got updated. So if your house was built before 2025, you probably have just builder's grade standard, unless you upgraded that. But now everything we build is super high R value. All your insulation is relatively standard throughout all our barndos, unless you ask for something different or higher R value. Yeah.
How'd you get so handsome? It's all natural.
Yeah, that's a Louisiana in me.
Duct blasting, that was another thing, like how the HVAC is set up and how it's tested. Can you talk a little bit about the HVAC portion of it?
Yeah, absolutely. With our, kind of fits in the insulation. Our duct blast test runs from our HVAC guy, our HVAC technicians. What they do is they hook a fan up to the duct work and they run a test, all kinds of numbers and formulas and everything run through that, but basically a test for air leakage to make sure your home's running as efficiently as it can. Make sure your 2-ton air system is actually running at 2 tons per inch, and you have as much energy and air flowing as you can with no leakage at all. So we run a duct blast test on every house. We also go a step further and run what they call a blower door test, which we hook a fan up to the front door, seal all windows, doors, everything else is closed except for the front door, which has a fan hooked to it. Once we turn that fan on, it checks for leaks throughout your entire house. All your crevices, all your cracks, all your
crevasses.
Crevasses, that's a big word. No, it tests for everything like that. Just make sure your home itself is running as efficiently as possible. Make sure you don't have any air leaking out of your windows, out of your baseboard, out of your ductwork, anywhere other than where it's not supposed to leak, through that front door, because that's where you're getting your testing from.
Yeah. A little known fact, I'm gonna throw you a curveball. You're not ready for this one. I didn't prep you. But a little known fact is actually Chase, the first one that sort of brought up the idea of building barndominiums. We were getting into some single family, like contemporary and modern construction. And he's like, dude, you should check out these barndominiums. And so that kind of took us down a rabbit hole for a few months of like figuring out how to construct them and why they're so desirable. So I'm actually curious. I know Chase is actually going to build his personal house here soon. What made you go barndo? Because like, obviously we're in the trade, you can pull a permit, you can build anything that you wanted to build. You're choosing to build a barndominium. Why are you going barndo?
Just because they're cool. They're cool. Like who doesn't want a giant metal shop house? Yeah. You know what? You have tons of space, you have tons of storage, you have huge vaulted ceilings, and basically you can do anything you want. And I preach this to all of our clients. Everybody that we meet with is all of your load-bearing walls are in the exterior. So if you want a big giant warehouse with a small bedroom, then you can have that. If you want 5 bedrooms and no garage, you can have that. Yeah. You can have anything you want because all of the load is held on your exterior walls.
Totally. And that's kind of the guy's perspective. I think most of our clients, no, it's great. It's actually, because normally all of our clients are a husband and wife or a couple and the wives love the design component, right? The guys get these big arch ceilings and these big outdoor spaces, front porches and back porches, but the design features of the elevation, the color palettes and all the different options on the interior and exterior are virtually limitless. So you kind of get the best world of like beautiful design in conjunction with like huge spaces and functionality. So it's, bougie redneck as it could be. So dude, thanks for stopping by and hitting the video with me. I appreciate your time today. I actually learned a couple things listening to you. So that's Jonathan, and this is my project manager Chase with 757 Building Company, where we exist to be a force for good by building lasting relationships and crafting forever homes, or barndominiums in this case. See you next week.